Hi there guys, I'm Brit and I'm here today with Adam on camera and Seamus here.
Hello.
He's going to complain about my rarity of cards.
Of course.
I'm here to do a Blackwing profile. It's one of my favourite decks. I've loved playing it since it came out. Don't look tired, Adam. So let's do this deck profile then.
Nice map, by the way.
Thank you. I do like Sword Art Online as soon as I get the chance to switch it for Full Metal Alchemist or Parasite, though it's going in reserve. So first up, Blackwing Shira the Blue Flame. He's one of the original Blackwings and he's got a pretty decent effect of being able to special summon a Blackwing monster with 1500 or less attack from the deck when he destroys an opponent's monster by battle. So you can get your synchro plays off pretty quickly.
Seamus, where are you? You're meant to be complaining about his rarity.
No, his rarity is on these. Okay, no. Rarity again.
Next up, I play 3 versions of Gale the Whirlwind.
Also rarity game.
There we go. He's a level 3 tuna monster, so he can get into level 7s with Shira quite easily, and he can be special summoned when I control another Blackwing monster, which is a very nice thing to have. Get your synchros off quickly. He's also got a pretty cool effect of halving the attack and defense of one monster the opponent controls. Not until the end of the turn, surprisingly, so that attack and defense is staying halved.
No, it's permanent.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yep. Next up, I run 2 copies of Pinaki the Waxing Moon. He's another level 3 tuner. Unfortunately, this one can't be special summoned when another Blackwing monster is on the field. But he does have the nice ability of being able to add a Blackwing monster from deck to hand when he's sent to the graveyard from the field. The only negative about him is he can only special summon Blackwing synchro monsters. But seeing as that's essentially all I run, I don't have an issue with that. Next up, Chris the Crack of Dawn. He is the partner I see for Waxing Moon because he can be special summoned, so that's another easy level 7 synchro monster. And then once per turn, he is when he would be destroyed by a spell or trap card, he's not. So it's a nice little defense, another level 4.
You don't just class them together because they're both gold.
And that as well.
Rarity game.
It's not rarity game, they're both, all 4 of them are gold.
You didn't let me finish. On point.
Anyway, next up is my Blackwing Tornado, the reverse one. This just came out in the new Dark Illusion set. I use him because I can recycle Waxing Moon, meaning I can get the effect off during the end phase again to get a search. So when this card is normal summoned, while the opponent controls a special summon monster, which, let's face it, in the current format, they're going to have on the field, I get to special summon a Blackwing tuna monster from the graveyard. Is it tuna monster? Yes. So that again opens up more level 7 players, other synchro players. It's just a nice little engine to have in there.
You did forget to mention that Waxing Moon gets its search at the end.
Yes. Well, I didn't mention it during Waxing Moon, but I have just mentioned it there.
No, you didn't. You just said you get more Waxing Moon effect.
No, I didn't. I said at the end you get the effect.
What? Like, keep on. Anyway.
It's going to be the worst deck profile ever.
Probably because it's my Blackwing deck.
I meant because of all talking.
So. Anyway. Next up, I play 3 copies of Blizzard the Far North. Unfortunately, he can't be special summoned at all, which kind of does suck in a Blackwing deck. But he allows a level 4 or lower Blackwing monster to be special summoned from the graveyard in defense position.
Rarity game.
It's not, they're all the same.
No, this little bit's gold, this one's silver.
Oh. No, that's because of the age of the cards.
Still rarity.
Anyway, he opens up level 6 plays, level 5 plays, some level 7 players, depending on what you've got in graveyard and what you've got on board. But he is a nice little card to have, so you've got more defense. Adam's making a funny face because he's an idiot. Wait, that's his normal face. Anyhow, I then play 2 copies of Gladys the Midnight Sun. Level 3, once per turn, when he would be destroyed by battle, he's not, so he's a nice little shield to have. And also, when I control one other Blackwing monster, specific to only one, I can special summon him from my hand. So he's nice for the early turns. Got one on field, special him, then I can special another one, get me high level synchro players out. Quite fun. Next up, Assault Blackwing, Kunal the Drizzle. He can be special summoned by tributing one Blackwing monster on the field, so you get a special summon, or if you're using Whirlwind, you can do it to normal summon. It's the same tribute cost, but the special summon gets him out again, like gets him out when you've already summoned. He also has the added perk of being a tuner monster when special summoned by that method. And I can also select one Blackwing synchro monster. Is it just? Nope. Target one synchro monster, doesn't specify Blackwing, and change its level from what it currently is, from 1 to 8. So it can open up other plays, it can resynchro. So it just gives the deck a bit more synchronicity and replayability.
Synchronicity. 1.5. Sorry.
Anyway, next is Blackwing Haman the Dust. This I use because it's level 2, it can be special summoned relatively easily, because as long as I've got another Blackwing, he comes out. His other effect... I'm going to kill him. His other effect means I can target another Blackwing on the field and increase his level by the level of that monster target. So if it's level 3, he becomes level 5. Again, can open up bigger synchro plays and get me higher boss monsters out quicker. Next, one copy of Zephyros Elite, simply because his effect can only be activated once per turn, but he is another level 4, so it opens level 7 and 6's synchros again. But yeah, his effect means that once per duel, I can target a face-up card I control, bounce it back to the hand, special summon this card, but I take 400 damage.
Oh.
So it is a relatively fair trade-off, especially in Blackwings with special summoning. But like I say, with it being once per duel, there's not really much point in running more than one of them.
Okay.
Next, for the final monster is Blackwing Decay the Ill Wind. This is quite simply because he's a level 4 tuner monster with the added ability of being able to mess with levels a bit, increase or decrease by 1. The only issue I have with him is during the end phase when he's in the graveyard, I take 1,000 damage if he was sent there this turn.
Okay. So all your monsters?
That is all my monsters done.
Wonderful. Is there anything you're thinking about changing at all?
The only thing I could see changing was the Ill Wind, simply because I don't want to be taking that 1,000 damage.
Yeah.
But he's the only level 4 Blackwing tuner monster. Well, he's not the only. The other one can't be special summoned though, so in a Blackwing deck, I'd rather take the 1,000 than not be able to special that card.
Okay, fair enough.
So for spell cards, I play 2 Black Whirlwind. This card allows me to search out another Blackwing monster when I've normal summoned a Blackwing. The only catch being the attack has to be less than the monster normal summoned. But it's still a great way to deck thin and get cards added to your hand faster and get your plays off. I then play 3 copies of Raptor Wing Strike. This is just to switch cards out, mess around with what I've got on the field and in hand, and it can throw the opponent off a little bit when they're not expecting it, because I get to return a face-up Blackwing from the field to the deck and then search out another one and add it to hand.
Okay.
Next, which I believe is the last Blackwing spell card which I play, is Against the Wind. I can select a Blackwing monster in the graveyard, I take damage equal to its attack, and then I can add it to hand. So it's a nice little search, and it's a fair trade-off. I'm taking the damage, but I'm getting my resources back. Next, Swallow's Nest. It's a generic winged beast spell card, so it works brilliantly on this. I contribute a winged beast type monster and then special summon one of the same level from the deck.
Oh.
Again, another little switch around. It's just fun to have and it gets some players off easier.
Yeah.
Next, Dark Eruption. This is just recyclability with Blackwings all being dark, meaning I can add a 1500 or less attack point monster from graveyard to hand. Gets me summons out, gets specials, opens up plays again. Like I say, recyclability, why wouldn't you want to have it in?
Yeah.
I'm considering adding a second one and getting rid of Against the Wind or a Raptor Wing Strike, simply because I would like that recyclability.
Fair enough.
Next, Allure of Darkness. I'm currently only playing 1 because I'm running a non-banished build of Blackwings. But with this, draw 2 cards and then I can banish a dark monster from the hand. However, if I don't, I lose my entire hand to the graveyard.
Would you consider bumping it up to 2 now outside 2?
I'm quite likely to do that, depending on whether I can get my hands on another one.
Okay, fair enough.
Next is Shared Ride. This would be what I'd switch out for a second Allure of Darkness, because this is situational, but depending on what deck I'm up against, it's highly useful. because after it resolves, each time the opponent adds card or cards from their deck or graveyard to hand, I get a draw one in response to it. So as much as they're getting resources, so am I. It's only fair.
Yeah. It's the same idea as Maxi, where it's like
Yeah,
force your opponent and trying to stop.
pretty much.
Fair play. That's all spells?
So that's all my spell cards for the deck. Next up, traps. I play 2 variants of Mirror Force. I play the original, the Destruction, and Storming. So for extra decks, bounce them back, make them use resources to get the key cards back out again, or get rid of the high beating monsters.
Yeah.
Next, I play Icarus Attack, another generic Winged Beast trap card. But this allows me to tribute 1 and destroy 2 cards on the field. So it's a nice little way of getting around spells and traps or high level monsters I wouldn't normally be able to get past. It's also a nice way of getting rid of pendulum scales now that I think about it.
Yeah, true.
Next, I play 2 cards which are similar to each other, King's Constance and Reject Reborn. Both of these essentially stop the opponent from doing damage to me via direct attack. However, King's Constance allows me to synchro summon from the graveyard using a tuner and any number of non-tuners to make level 8 or less.
Mm-hmm.
And then synchro summon from the extra deck. Reject Reborn, on the other hand, stops the direct attack, ends the battle phase, and then I can special summon 1 synchro monster from the graveyard and a tuner monster from the graveyard. So it gives me a powerful monster and half the material, or the entire material depending on the level of the synchro monster.
It sets up for the synchro rather than
Exactly.
automatically doing it, fair enough.
Exactly, and with the end of the battle phase means that I'm going to have my cards on the field unless they Dark Hole or Raigeki me during their main phase 2.
That's right.
Next, the only Blackwing support trap I play, Delta Crow Anti-Reverse. If I control the Blackwing, destroy all set spell and trap cards the opponent controls, although they can chain to it. If they're being set, they're being set for a reason, so I want to try and get rid of it, like if it's an opposing Mirror Force or Dimension Prison or whatever, or Vanities. Another nice thing with this is with Blackwings being a swarming deck, so odds are you're going to want more on the field than you can possibly get. If I have 3 Blackwings on the field at any one time, I can activate this card from my hand, so it essentially becomes a hand trap if I've got the right amount of resources on board.
Would you consider swapping that out for like a more generic spell trap removal, like because then you can take face-ups as well? Or...
Yeah, I am tempted to. The other thing I'm tempted to do is switch a trap card out or a spell or monster for Breakthrough Skill, because it stops monster effects.
Okay.
But if I would swap Breakthrough Skill, I would switch out one of the next following 2 cards.
Okay.
Which would be Grand Horn of Heaven or Solemn Warning. Both of them stops the opponent getting out powerful monsters. Grand Horn of Heaven means it skips them straight to their battle phase, but they get a draw from me stopping their summon. So it's a fair trade-off, because they're getting a card for it, but they can't use it just yet, so it gives me that little bit of time. Solemn Warning, most people should know, stops the special summon of a monster or the spell or trap card that would summon a monster, but I've got to pay 2,000 life points for it.
Yeah, that's decent. Is that all the traps?
Yep, that's all my traps.
Wonderful.
I think most of them are fair trades, so...
Yeah. At least enough.
Next up is the extra deck.
Yep.
Which is essentially all Blackwing monsters apart from 2. First up, Blackwing Armor Master. He's essentially the mascot of the deck, can't be destroyed by battle. I don't take battle damage from battles involving him, and when he attacks, if the monster isn't destroyed, I can put a wedge counter on it. The following turn, I can remove said wedge counter and make its attack and defense 0, making it a sitting duck.
Fair enough, yeah.
Next up is Assault Blackwing Raiki, or Arkiri. This is treated as a tuner monster when using Blackwing monsters for synchro material. And then once per turn, I can target cards the opponent controls equal to other Blackwing monsters on the I control and destroy them. So it's a nice way of popping things and getting around things I wouldn't normally be able to get over. Next, Assault Blackwing Chindori. Again, the Assault Blackwings tend to be tuner monsters when special summoned using Blackwing monsters. This one gains 300 attack points for every Blackwing monster in my graveyard, so he is the potential powerhouse of the deck. And when he's sent from field to graveyard, I can special summon another Blackwing synchro monster. Next up, Blackwing Tamer, Obsidian Hawkjaw. They've not brought out any more Tamer Blackwings as far as I'm aware, But this guy allows me to special summon a level 5 or higher winged beast monster from the graveyard, so it can bring back my synchros or my Assault Blackwing in the deck. Also, when he's attacked or targeted specifically by a spell or trap effect, I can switch the target to a more appropriate Blackwing monster I control. So if someone were to attack into him and I have Armor Master on the field, I can then switch the attack target, keep him safe. Next, Blackwing Northlung the Starlight. When he's special summoned, doesn't have to be by synchro summon. It deals 800 attack points to my opponent and does damage. Yeah, it does damage by 800 to the opponent and makes an opponent's monster lose 800 attack points. It can also give me an extra normal summon per turn, so that's always useful to have, especially when Blackwings are trying to swarm the field. Next, Assault Blackwings Ahoya the Rainstorm. This I run because it can be used as a level 5 tuner, which when I work with level 7s a lot, gets me into level 12s very easily. And it allows me to, when it's special summoned, I can special summon a Assault Blackwing monster from the graveyard. And during the main phase, I can banish another copy of him from the graveyard to special summon it from the graveyard. So, 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Not the card. The effect. Next up is Assault Blackwing Omnimaru the Divine Thunder. Now, a lot of people would say play Quasar instead, but like I say, I'm playing an almost pure Blackwing build. And this guy is treated as a tuner monster when used with Blackwing materials. And he can change his level using a monster in graveyard. Select the monster and its level becomes that until the end of the turn. That can only be used once per duel, if I remember correctly. The other effect is if I use synchro material, which is what I tend to do because I don't see the point in synchroing into him otherwise, he gains an extra 3,000 attack points during the damage step. So that's a potential 6,000 points of damage.
That's not bad.
How can you turn that up? Next is just generic support. Ally of Justice Catasta gets over pretty much anything that's not dark, so very useful. And finally, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon.
God, that's beautiful.
I know, it's beautiful. This card essentially lets me stop effects from monsters that's level 5 or higher, and it gains the attack of said monster, or if it attacks into a monster that's level 5 or higher, it gains the attack. So if I'm attacking, the opponent's essentially taking 3,000 damage.
Fair enough.
That puts an end to my Blackwing deck. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it went on for a little bit, but hopefully it stuck around. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below and we'll try and get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks for watching.